Okay, so today we're going to make oregano pesto. If you've followed me for any length of time, you know I love pesto. It's one of the main food groups in our household. We always, if you come to my house for dinner, you will probably get some pesto. And, you know, we can just, I grew up just learning, well, I didn't grow up with any pesto. We never ate pesto. But when I first started learning how to make pesto, I thought you always had to have basil. You don't need basil at all. I love basil pesto, but my garden just doesn't have basil all year. Once the frost comes, it's gone. So, and then in the store, it's so expensive. Basil has just become so expensive. So it's really good that there's so many other great things that you can make pesto with. And the pesto, it is such a medicinal, incredibly medicinal food, right? Full of enzymes, antibacterial, the medicine, the therapeutic value of the herbs that we can get in there. And it can be added to so many things. It's one of these things that goes on. It can be added to quinoa or beans or potatoes or eggs or soup or salad. I mean, you can add a dollop of this explosion of flavor and medicinal food to a lot of different meals. And the other thing that this solves is that I hear a lot of people say, I live alone. I cook alone. I cook for myself. I don't feel very creative. I don't feel herbally creative at the end of the day. I don't feel like making, these extravagant herbal gourmet meals. Or I get stuck in a rut. I just make the same thing over and over, that kind of thing, right? Well, this really is a great solution to that, because what you can do is put in 15 minutes at the beginning of your week, and you can make a pesto that'll last you 3, 4, 5 days. I love herbal kitchen hacks that you put a little bit of effort in once and then it lasts you for a while, right? So even when you don't feel creative and you're just, eating soup out of a can, whatever, you can put some of this medicinal pesto in there and feel good about it, right? Having an herbal kitchen doesn't mean that you always have it together and you're always making the best gourmet, herbal, organic, everything. Right? It means having lots of herbs layered into a lot of different mediums so that no matter what your diet is, no matter what you're eating, no matter how not creative you feel, you can still get the herbs in there, right? Okay, so this is a good recipe. And I follow this recipe because it's so good. But if you don't have oregano, find something else, right? You know what I'm going to say. Don't be recipe dependent. So this recipe is, 1/2 to 3/4 cup of olive oil. And then we've got 1 cup of arugula and 1 cup of salad greens. So we're getting our leafy greens, right? You can do any leafy greens that you want. But today I've got a cup of salad mix and a cup of arugula. Then we're going to put in 1/2 cup of oregano. The oregano in my garden is just going off right now. 1/2 cup of oregano. We're going to put in 1/2 cup of cucumber. And you get to decide how much garlic you want in your pesto. I'm going to make kind of a spicy pesto today. So I'm going to put in 3 cloves, but you may want 1. And I have had pesto where there's been too much garlic. You get to decide. Then I'm going to put in some tamari, some salt, some pepper, 1/2 cup of cashew, and we're going to put avocado in this. So now this pesto has arugula and oregano in it, which were both pretty spicy. And so one of the ways we can kind of temper out the spiciness is by adding cucumber. Cucumber is very cooling and it's kind of an antidote to the intensity of the oregano. And the other thing you can do is you add avocado. So you can put 1/2 to a full avocado in here, and it just turns it into this incredible creamy dip, really. But the fat in the avocado also helps to kind of calm the intensity, it helps to absorb the fieriness of the oregano. Okay, so we've got our greens, I think I've said everything. And the oregano is incredible. Oregano is antimicrobial everything. If you feel like anybody in your household's been exposed to anything, just get more oregano in your food. A lot of people get colds in the summertime. We always think of colds as like a winter thing, but there are a lot of summer colds. So your oregano. Okay. let's make this. Ready? Now, the thing is, when I'm doing my pesto, I like to do the oil, the nuts, and the garlic first, because if you put those in with everything else, you can end up with like chunks of garlic and chunks of nuts. Some people like their pesto chunky. I mean, some people actually make pesto chunky. I like my pesto kind of creamy and smooth, okay? This is how I do it. So I'm gonna put in 1/2 to 3/4 cup of olive oil, more or less, 1/2 cup of cashew, and I'm going to put in my garlic, and I'm going to get that all mixed up. Okay, so I've got a nice paste with my oil, nuts, and garlic. Then I'm going to throw in my cucumber, 1/2 cup to a little bit more. I'll put in my greens, my 2 cups of greens. And then we're going to put in 1/2 cup of oregano. And this is so good. And then I'm going to get all this mixed up because I like to wait till the very end to add the avocado in, because the avocado can oxidize. So this is one pesto that I usually try to eat that day, because if the avocado sits around, it oxidizes, and it's not good to have oxidized fat. So let's mix this up. Okay. Now, if you feel like so this feels a little bit dry, you can always add a little bit of water to your pesto. I don't always do that, so I'm just going to put a splash, couple tablespoons of water in there. And then we're going to put in our tamari. Okay. A little bit of pepper. And the other thing is, you can add salt or you can add herb salt. I have lots of herb salt recipes, and this salt is interesting. It's got rosemary, thyme. Yeah, this is good. I'm just going to put a little bit of that in there. And you could use plain salt, but if you have herb salt, you might as well. Then we're going to get our avocado in here. So again, this is a great way to do something creative that's really based on the season, what you've got, what's at the farmer's market, and be able to take care of yourself and feel like you have something on hand that can add flavor to even a dull meal. And the other thing that's so amazing about your pestos is, let's say, so another really big complaint I get from people is like, look, I live with somebody that is not that into herbs, and they do a lot of the cooking, and my food is just they don't use enough herbs. So that's the truth in my house, believe it or not. But my husband does a lot of the cooking now. Since I started writing more, he's decided to do more of the cooking, which is really awesome. But his meals are herbally deficient. They don't have enough herbs in them, but I don't have to complain. I can make pesto at the beginning of the week, and when we sit down to the table, I've got my herbal infused oils, I've got my herbal sprinkles on the table, and I've got some pesto. So no matter how, he makes these great meals with love. I mean, there's so many places he could put in the herbs, but he just forgets. He doesn't do it, right? So I sit down and I just slop on the pesto and the sprinkles, and so you can take care of yourself. And so the beauty of having pesto is you can take care of yourself that way if the person that you live with isn't into it, which I hear that a lot. And the other thing is that this allows for, the other thing I hear people say is that everyone in their household has a different preference. This person likes this, so your pesto can be. It can solve that. You can make it so that it's for your preference or for the person, that's somebody that you live with. And so you have different flavors that you can add on to the rice so that everybody's happy. Right? There's all these like roadblocks to like being an herbal family, being an herbal kitchen. So pesto solves a lot. It's a great way to add creativity, flavor, and medicine to your food. and not a lot of effort. So let's get this. Okay. Okay, that looks really good. Yum. Just the smell of it. You can just get a pretty little dish to put this in. This is a great vegetable dip. This goes really good on eggs. You can just put a dollop on so many different, it's good on pasta. And so the one thing about when I make my pesto with avocado, that, like I said, I really try to eat that day, and it's not a pesto that I freeze. So there's your oregano pesto. You can just put that on the table, and who needs mayonnaise and ketchup? That's the other thing we got to get beyond. Why don't our condiments look like this? There's your oregano pesto, full of really good medicine and just a great way to really juice up your herbal kitchen.